Hi guys, welcome to another great episode of Rad Dad Toolbox. Today we're going to be doing an oil change on an 04 and 04 and a half, I should say, F-150 Triton 5.4. Now these motors are really important to take care of. They have known cam phaser problems, etc. And one of the best things you can do to prevent problems is use the right oil, which in this case is 5-weight 20, kind of a lighter oil, and it has to be synthetic. Now today I'm going to show you how to do an oil change, a 7-quart synthetic oil change for less than 25 bucks. If you do it yourself and save the big bucks. So glad you've joined us. And by the way, if you have not subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button. And if you have not pounded the like button, please do so. Looking forward to having you with us today. Let's go get started. Okay guys, we're back in the garage. We're ready to dig in on this F-150. Let me just show it to you here. Here's the beast that we'll be doing the oil change on today, and this is an F-150 Triton 5.4 3-valve heads. So this is the one with the cam phasers and tensioner and chain problems. So you want to make frequent oil changes. Best thing you can do on any car, and especially these F-150s. Okay, let's go over what we're going to be using today to make this happen. We're using a 23-quart oil drain pan, Hyper Tough from Walmart. Really inexpensive, I want to say about 12 bucks. We are using a super multi-purpose funnel flow tool. That's also from Walmart, I believe. For our funnel, of course, please always have paper towels. You're gonna need them. We have a 5/8 socket with an extension. We also will be using the extension on the oil filter, made specifically for this oil filter. It's got a lot of flutes on it, meaning those little grip spots right there, and it makes it just extra easy to break the seal on the old oil filter. Works really good. And then I use a handy dandy fluorescent magnetic light for light. You'll notice I've got a cardboard box, flat. I use that for any spills. This whole thing will slide under the truck. And today we're going to be using a Kirkland or Costco fully synthetic 5-weight 20 oil. This takes a very light oil. It is Dexus, Dexus, I want to say Gen 2, great oil. It's actually made by a major manufacturer, and it's a great way to save some money, and it's fantastic oil. We will be putting 7 quarts in, so we've got 6 quarts in a case, plus 1 more quart. We're going to be using an oil filter from Motorcraft. This is a factory filter, FL820S for our oil filter. And then we're also going to be using this Pittsburgh Creeper, not creepy, Creeper. This has got a nice headrest on it. It's got a place to put your tools, those kinds of things, lights, whatever. Really nice little setup, wheels really nice, and I got that from Harbor Freight. So let's take the next step and get going on this oil change. All right, there is the beast, the 5.4 Triton 3-valve. Where is that? Right, can't even see that right there. There it is, boom. And we're gonna go ahead and open this oil fill cap. Notice it says 5-weight 20 right on the cap. We're gonna take that off, and so we can get air and drain every bit of that oil out. Let's go bottom side now. All right, there is the drain plug. There is my new transmission. Sweet, that the previous owner already put in. I didn't have to do it. I'll have to tell you all about this truck in a future video, but let's get down to oil changing business. I just say it funny just for fun. There's the drain plug. Let's go ahead and unscrew that and get the oil flowing. Special, I'm going to do this with one hand while I hold the camera so you can get a good angle on this. Okay, we are loosening the drain plug. We're about ready to make it rain dirty oil. Now it's loose. So now I should be able to do this by hand. You can see it dripping. It's going to start pouring here in just a minute. And I want to get back just a little bit. Okay, you can see it starting to drip. It's going to pour here in just a second. So let's get that flowing. Here it comes. There we go. And she's pouring like a gusher. And that pan is catching it really good. So I think we're good to go. Okay, so while that oil is draining, I brought all 6 quarts of our full synthetic 5-weight 20 Costco motor oil, major brand. Remember again, that's Dexos Gen 2 standards, which is a super high standard, so this is really good oil. So that's all prepped. We got 7 quarts there. We've got our funnel all lined up to add the new oil once we remove the oil filter and put a new one on and tighten up the drain plug. And then today, we'll be using an FL820S Motorcraft oil filter. Let's go ahead and open that up. And that's a brand new nice filter there. We're gonna wanna run just a little bit of oil all around that gasket so it seals really nice. We can just do that with our finger, but we'll get that ready to go as well. Okay, and then one thing that I do, and it's kind of old school, but it's still smart to do, and that is we're gonna prime the oil filter and fill it with oil so that when the engine starts, it's already primed and is lubing almost immediately. So we'll fill that up there. There we go. And that's all the way full. Now we'll take some of this oil and we'll just rub it around this gasket so it seals nicely. This is nice fresh oil here. Okay, now the oil filter is ready to go. Okay, so you can see that the drain plug and the drain has drained. It's just barely dripping, one more drip or two of oil there. So let's go ahead and put that drain plug back in. You do want to snug it up. You don't want it to over tighten it or you can strip threads. So snug it down, but don't, what I like to say, kung fu it or over tighten it. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's go ahead and tighten that up, maybe. And again, we don't want to tighten it too tight. We just want to snug it down and maybe you can get a feel for how tight I'm doing it here. I'm just barely still going in real easy and now it's going to grab. And I'm going to tighten it about like that, and that is it. All right, so I'm really glad I had this oil filter wrench because somebody had really kung fu'd this oil filter on. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish taking it off and then we'll install the new one. Here's the oil filter. It is kind of in a different spot for a lot of engines. It's towards the front of the motor. There's a little skirt you pull back on the very front by the radiator and you can have full access to the filter. So we'll go ahead and remove that. I did break it a little loose, so we'll get it undone and put the new one on and snug it down. Okay, the oil filter's all snugged up, and I just snugged it down on that nice rubber gasket. Remember, we did rub oil on it, so it'll seal really good. Do not over tighten. Number 1, you don't need to. Number 2, you can cause damage. And number 3, it makes it very difficult to remove, so don't do it. Anyway, that one's snugged down, ready to go. Let's go topside. All right, so we're ready to add the fresh oil back into the engine. We want to be very careful with this. A lot of big V8s still only hold 5 or 6 quarts. This particular engine holds 7 quarts. And so you want to make sure that you put 7 in, not 5. 5 will starve the upper end of the engine and the cam phasers, which advance your timing, etc. So don't do it. I've seen it many, many times where people just do 5 quarts because they're used to, that's how they do an oil change. Well, when you're 2 quarts low, you're causing damage to the engine, and especially on these engines, the oil just will not reach up into the cam phasers and will cause all kinds of problems. So make sure you do 7 quarts. Okay, this is the 7th quart. So we'll go ahead and add that. Love that sound, love that nice, clean, fresh, honey-colored oil. Gonna take really good care of this motor. And then we will double check the oil level before we fire the truck up. All right, the oil level is right up to that top. There's a lower and a higher, or a lower and a full. And you can tell it's right up to the full. So we're gonna stick this back in and fire it up. All right, fire in the hole, baby, here we go. Sounds good and smooth. Sweet. All right, and last but not least, we want to write the miles where we will do it again. And with synthetic, I'd normally go 5,000 miles, but because this is a higher mileage truck, I'm gonna go 4,000, like to get my money's worth, but we're just gonna go 4,000. So at 174, we'll be changing it again. Let's go ahead and put that sticker in. Bing. Okay guys, thanks for joining us again on Rad Dad Toolbox. Hopefully you've learned something today with the 5.4 Triton. Got to run that 5-weight 20 synthetic only, and you can take good care of this. Remember, you want to change that oil, especially higher mileage, not much more than about 4,000 miles. Take good care of that engine. Remember, it is 7 quarts, not 5. So hopefully you've learned something. Thanks for joining us. And if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us. And if you haven't liked the video, please pound the like button. And if you comment below, I will answer every comment that comes in. So thanks again for joining us, and check out my other videos. Appreciate you. And can you do this kind of stuff? Absoflippinlutely. Thank you.